Have you ever wondered how the biggest and the most expensive telescope ever made was transported? Yeah, I'm talking about the James Webb Space Telescope, a reflecting telescope, one of the most expensive telescopes ever built. Well, the story of its transport is very interesting, so make sure that you watch until the end. Let's talk about how the James Webb Space Telescope was transported from California to the Space Center. NASA's most expensive telescope is at the moment at its final destination, Lagrange Point 2, popularly known as L2 orbit. This is nearly 1.6 million kilometers away from the Earth. Now, before this successful launch of the Webb telescope, it was transported from different parts of the world to reach its destination. Back in the following years, the deployment of NASA's James Webb Space Telescope was among the most difficult and terrifying processes that any spacecraft may have gone through. But before Webb could even board its rocket to space, it had to finish its one last journey on Earth, which is a trip of almost 5,800 miles. After leaving California on September 26th and traveling through the Panama Canal, Webb arrived at the port de Praia Cabo on October 12th in French Guiana, located on the northeastern coast of South America. This port is situated on the Kourou River. Now that Webb has been transported to its launch location, it will start 2 months of operational preparations prior to its planned launch on December 18th. Everything about this mission of transport was unpredictable since it was carrying the biggest and most powerful space telescope ever created. Let's see what preparations were done for this transport. Webb is not just a toy or something else that could be fitted in a box or a container. It needs a big custom-made suitcase to get carried safely to the launch location. Webb is a unique telescope that needed a massive, custom-made suitcase called STARS, which is professionally known as Space Telescope Transporter for Air, Road and Sea. STARS is around 168,000 pounds in weight, that is roughly around 76,000 kilograms. It is roughly twice as long as a semi-trailer at 18 feet, 5.5 meters in height, 15 feet which is 4.6 meters wide and 110 feet that is 33.5 meters long. This biggest container was prepared in such a way to deal with any harsh or worse circumstances that might run across while traveling. When creating, building and testing STARS, engineers extensively explored how to successfully shield the container from severe rains and other weather conditions. Now for a safe journey, charting the course is another important thing. Any journey requires a lot of planning, and this one might need a lot. With Webb, there were now additional difficulties involved in crossing 2 seas with a very large and delicate space telescope. One little problem might lead to the destruction of the most expensive telescope. Webb's arrival in Kourou was the result of years of planning, according to Charlie Diaz, manager of launch site operations.
So Eric, what did he say about all these SLS delays?
At NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. There are just thousands of different things that go on behind the scenes. Pulling permits, avoiding obstructions, choosing alternate routes. All kinds of nuances. Our team has been working on this for a while and I'm really pleased with them. Webb's ship journey will finally be divided into 2 brief drives, one in French Guiana and one in California. The first journey transported Webb from Northrop Grumman's offices in Redondo Beach, California, to the Naval Weapons Station Seal Beach, which was close by. The second drive will transport the Webb from the port of Praia Cabo to the European spaceport in Kourou, where it will take its launch to space. To further understand the variables involved, Diaz's team conducted the route assessments using satellite photography before these drives to ensure a safe journey. Details like potholes that needed to be patched or traffic signals that had to be raised because of STARS' height were documented. The team also chose safe havens or locations along the journey where they could safely conduct any necessary maintenance on the container in case of emergency, so as to ensure that the telescope must remain safe. Due to its size and weight, STARS could only maintain a smooth ride on the road by moving at a pace of 5 to 10 miles per hour. If the speed is increased, then there might be the risk of the telescope getting destroyed. The STARS previously flew the Webb components to different NASA or partner sites, but because due to the logistics of landing at the Cayenne airport in French Guiana, the crew decided to ship Webb to Kourou. 7 bridges on the 40-mile, 65-kilometer route between the airport and the launch site are too large for stars to pass. A little distance separates Webb's launch spot from the port of Paria Cabo as well. In contrast, it would have taken nearly 2 days to go from the Cayenne airport to the launch location, taking into account the star's poor speeds and other limitations. Webb found sailing to be fairly easy compared to the turbulence of air travel and the forces experienced after landing aboard the cargo transport ship MN Colibri. To transport large rocket components and sensitive payloads to Europe's spaceport, also known as the Guinea Space Center, the MN Colibri spacecraft was specifically designed. The ship generally sailed at 15 knots or 17 miles per hour. Sandra Irish, Webb's chief structural engineer at Goddard, was in charge of ensuring that no stresses went beyond what was considered to be accepted.
The way the 16 countries interact on station, it's really no kidding.
She and her team worked hard with the crew and the shipping business to plan an ocean path for stars that avoided the choppy waters. Running a clean ship, this might be one of the most important things of all. Webb must be kept clean while it's on Earth, just like the other spacecraft. In essence, STARS is a portable clean room. According to STARS, no more than 100 airborne particles larger than or equal to 0.5 microns are present within the container when Webb is on its way to the launch point. If you compare the particle size, a human hair is only half a micron wide. The container was completely cleaned on the inside and out by the Webb Contamination Control team in order to get it ready for receiving and transporting the Webb. Members of the team used the ultraviolet light to thoroughly check each screw, nut and bolt for any remaining contamination. The spacecraft and the telescope, in short, must be well cleaned. Then, with both of them inside the Northrop Grumman clean room, Webb was placed into STARS. Until STARS can be opened inside the reception clean room at the launch site, this will maintain its cleanliness. STARS was transported to the French Guiana within the MN Colibri's massive cargo hold, protected from the elements and the open ocean, together with the equipment and supplies for launch preparations. A sophisticated heating, ventilation and air conditioning (HVAC) system was designed especially for STARS to monitor and control the temperature and humidity inside the container. Neil Patel, the transportation manager for Webb at Goddard, was one of the 5 Webb team members who traveled with STARS to ensure that Webb would remain in good condition. He said, "Traveling through the Panama Canal with Webb was a once-in-a-lifetime experience and a first-time activity for our team. It was pretty remarkable to bring this observatory to its final site on Earth," he remarked. The Webb Telescope is already an experienced traveler, having traveled by land, air, and now sea. It has also been launched in the last month of 2021 for its final destination. And you know what? It's currently at its final destination at Lagrange Point 2 and taking pictures of this wide universe. And this is all how the biggest telescope was transported from California to the Space Center. Now take a look into the just released new images of the James Webb Space Telescope. Just click on this video.